Ayurveda and things surrounding it. Who else can explain it better than Dr. Srijit himself? He is one of the top minds who knows the in and out of Ayurveda, and if I'm not wrong, he is the only student of Sir Dr. C.P. Matthew. Not only that, but Sir's family is involved in Ayurveda for 5 generations now. It was indeed an intense conversation with Sir, and I had to put it in 2 parts. So, here is the first part of the video for you guys to listen and gain some knowledge. But before that, if you are new to this channel, do subscribe and use the timestamp given in the description. So grab on your earphones and let's get into the video. Welcome, sir. It's an honor to have you in my show. First of all, please introduce yourself to the listeners, sir.
Well, I usually prefer more than introducing myself, how I am useful to anyone. So, because there's no point telling my CV or biodata or credentials, but if somebody can make use of me or my whatever knowledge I may have or have, uh, I'm an Ayurvedic doctor, currently on leave from the government of Kerala's Ayurveda service. My major work of interest and work is now cancer patients only, majority.
Mm.
Of course, the general patients also come,
Yeah.
and typically I am a doctor's trainer
Mm.
of what we call as youngsters who are molding their career. Normally a doctor,
Mm.
and I do my best to bring Ayurveda to the public.
Mm.
The unseen or the uncommon aspects of Ayurveda healthcare, not very explicitly found in the search engines.
Mm.
I try to bring it out every day, 30 seconds,
Mm.
reads
Mm.
to the Instagram. So
Mm.
this is what I do
Mm.
for my living and for propagating Ayurveda.
Yes, sir. So, firstly, I want to ask you about what is Ayurveda, and can you explain something about Ayurveda and what will be the future of Ayurveda?
The very first thing is that, of course, you have all this information at Google that it's a full-fledged medical system, medical science or medical. It's a science of life, but it's a medical system also. We can't deny that.
Mm.
Why use the word? People do associate it only to food and lifestyle, but it's not the case. It's a full-fledged medical discipline. I mean,
Mm.
as simple as that. In the BC era,
Mm.
plastic surgery was done in India, or maybe you can say erstwhile Pakistan,
Mm.
like those areas which was bigger India at one point.
Yeah.
So it's the science that had that contribution to the world
Mm.
for blood circulation much before Mr. William Harry had formally been acknowledged as the circulation finding, the person finding blood circulation. It was already in Sushruta Samhita, the circulation of blood, very clearly.
Mm.
So it had its great impact in the Indian society.
Mm.
It has served the Indian subcontinent for more than 3,000 years as the main medical system till the British took over or included or introduced their medical system
Mm.
way back in 1880s, 1870s kind of situation.
Yeah.
And now also it is catering to the healthcare of the people in India
Mm.
and the other parts of the world also.
Yeah.
So it is something that, apart from being a medical care by itself, it encompasses different aspects of the human life,
Mm.
narrating how somebody should be living in harmony with himself, with his family, with his society, and with his nation.
Yep.
That's the other part of the medical part of Ayurveda,
Mm.
actually. So it's a comprehensive science that takes care of different facets of the human life.
Mm.
Before even a couple tries to conceive a child,
Mm.
before they even have sex to have a child,
Mm.
those aspects including till death. So it pretty much covers everything.
Mm. So, what exactly do you do at Athreya, sir?
Well, there are two parts of my life. One, if I say I'm a government service doctor, so typically we are treating patients at the OPD level, IPD level.
Mm.
So that's one part of my life. The second is Athreya, that's my family property.
Mm.
So we are fifth generation into it,
Okay.
our family.
Mm.
So there we call it as a NABH. It's NABH is a very high standard of hospital
Okay.
and something that helps people to get even insurance also. It's a very high standard, the best in India.
Mm.
So we are in the top 100 of that in terms of getting into NABH.
Mm.
And so it's a hospital.
Mm.
We call it as a medical resort for the sake of marketing, if you call that way, because people relate
Yeah.
to an idea of retreat
Mm.
than a hospital, which is a sick word for many people as a sick feeling.
Yeah.
So it's basically a hospital with a resort kind of ambience,
Mm.
but we call it retreat kind of ambience.
Okay.
And it has something that is called as cure and care.
Mm.
No, that is the idea for many people.
Okay.
So many come for their self-care,
Mm.
their annual self-care,
Mm.
and many come for their cure,
Mm.
whatever suits their requirement.
Mm.
So it is something I would call a place where somebody can take care of ailments that are not properly addressed or not satisfactorily addressed by other systems of medicine. One,
Mm.
and secondly, it is also a situation where people are able to detox, as they call it,
Mm.
or even weight loss. Some people call it. Some say rejuvenate. Whatever names they use. Some say come out of the burnout.
Yeah.
Multiple such nomenclatures can be used.
Okay.
So it's basically a place of medical care,
Mm.
and that's how. And it's more of an IPD level. People come OPD level.
Okay.
It's IPD level. So what we have got into effect is now the cancer care aspect into it
Mm.
for the last nearly 2 years
Mm.
now.
Okay. So, if you can tell me something about Sir Dr. C.P. Matthew, what was your first experience with him, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought 25 years ago, nearly.
Yes, sir.
Well, not 25, 1998. So, like 23 years ago, I never thought when I was listening to his speech
Mm.
that I would be his favorite student or his follower
Yes, sir.
or his protege, whatever you may call that.
Mm.
Actually, I never thought that I'll be the person who will be handed over all his clinical diaries
Mm.
that he wants to continue his legacy for the world after his lifetime, God forbid, whenever it is.
Mm.
So I never thought so. I put it that way. So meeting him first time was never the case in '98 because I am one of the many attending people of the, I don't know if there's a word for attendee, but one of
Yeah.
the many
Mm.
attendants of the webinar. Not those is no webinar, the seminar that he was
Okay.
speaking as the invited speaker.
Mm.
I never thought that, but then I know him for last 10 years now. I've been referring patients to him, learning from him.
Mm.
It's more intense the last 2 years,
Mm.
documenting all this case. So it was a great feeling to know that somebody who is 1954 MBBS. So, so just imagine seniority is 1954 MBBS completed when Kerala was not born.
Mm.
Kerala was princely state,
Yeah.
till a certain time.
Mm.
So I mean, he went to Chennai,
Mm.
or those days Madras,
Mm.
to have MBBS degree where he had,
Mm.
and his MS was 1965,
Mm.
a surgeon. So I mean, a surgeon who lauds and speaks, raves about Ayurveda's greatness. That is exceptional.
Mm.
That is exceptional level of respect
Mm.
and admiration for a system that he was not formally trained in the academy.
Mm.
So that really is very impressive
Mm.
and commendable also, and worth emulating also.
Mm.
So over the years, I have understood his the line of treatment, his method of treatment, so many things.
Mm.
So yeah.
Superb, sir. And next question would be, sir, what is cancer, and what are the few pain points that cancer patients have, let it be financially or physically? What do they go through, sir?
See, cancer is not just one disease; it's a multi-system failure for many.
Mm.
And if not multi-system failure, like okay, cancer esophagus, cancer throat,
Mm.
or is a cancer lung, we may say it is one organ involved.
Mm.
But then we also know that even if one organ is involved, the cancer cells can migrate to other parts of the body. You call it metastasis, you call it spread, whatever.
Mm.
So it ends up being a multi-system failure at some or the other point,
Okay.
wherein the immunity is compromised. First thing I would say about cancer is, of course, it's a condition which may be needed to be attended as a surgical care.
Mm.
One thing.
Mm.
Sometimes it is only medical care that is needed.
Mm.
And second important thing is that it is something that hugely brings down your immunity.
Mm.
And thirdly is that it is something where the psychology goes for a toss.
Mm.
And fourthly, it's always the case. Oncology is always associated with psychology.
Mm.
And fourthly, it is something where you have huge financial losses. And then lastly, the emotional cost is very high.
Mm.
Even though there are people who are dying of heart failure silently,
Mm.
they're dying slowly, kidney failures. But then in cancer, there's emotional there's as if like a emotional cord
Mm.
that becomes so strong with the fear of death. Very difficult to cut that off
Mm.
from the person.
Mm.
So there is a huge emotional component
Gap, yeah.
that needs to be
Mm.
addressed too.
Mm. And I know you are working on integrating Ayush with allopathy. Can you tell
Yeah.
something about it? What's your take on it? And first of all, can you explain to the listeners what is Ayush in general?
Yeah, Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, Homeopathy.
Mm.
This is how Ayush is called.
Mm.
So generally people take Ayush to only Ayurveda,
Mm.
which is definitely a deficient understanding.
Mm.
So in this, all these systems have great merit.
Mm.
They have great merit and they have great amount of impact in people's lives.
Mm.
Obviously, each of them have a limitation. So does allopathy.
Okay.
And this is where I'm coming to the point that there are situations where we need all systems or at least two systems to work together. I say two systems because it's mostly happening Siddha and Allopathy, Ayurveda and Allopathy, like it happens in Homeo Allopathy, wherein what we describe as the idea of getting the best of everything. So if I tell you one simple example,
Yes.
somebody has leukemia in a big way and whatever, it's a blood cancer. So there are 4 types, whatever. We keep that details away. But condition is simple. Somebody is very tired, very drained, feeling very lethargic, loss of interest in life, etc. And apart from that, that breathlessness when walking, etc. And then you make a simple blood test. You know allopathic blood test, no, right? You find the hemoglobin is like dangerously below 6, and the platelet is unfortunately below 20,000. So what is the point of giving Ayurveda medicines there when you should get, because you can give later stage to make it better, like when you should give blood transfusion to the person. Of course, you use in long term the Ayurveda or Siddha or Homeo medicines, no problem. But it should not be a situation is that we are using only one thing. So the platelet below 20,000, you need platelet transfer, no? That's a transfusion.
Yeah.
So of course there are medicines in Ayurveda which increase platelet. I don't deny that. But a certain critical value, if it is, when you have a possibility to feed it directly, feed means insert it or inject it or provide it directly. Why should you take the time by spending time on Ayush? However, after this crisis situation is taken care of, it's not feasible to keep giving platelet and hemoglobin getting infused, whole blood into the body all the time. You need to help the body to repair itself and get better. So there you have the role of Ayush anyway. This is one example.
Yeah.
And there is a situation where you have intestinal obstruction, as we use the word, in certain forms of cancer, mostly colon cancer. So you have vomiting, you have constipation, the hell of a pain in the abdomen and such, and you need surgery if this intestinal obstruction. You can't get rid of with just medicines only. Once that is over, Ayush can take over to preserve the remaining health, which surgery cannot do. So that is how there are many conditions where you need all systems acting into force to get the best result. So basically, unless these islands of different system of medicines mash together, join together, patients will keep suffering in cold water. I would use that word. Swimming from one end to another and still in the water, never getting a salvaging point. One. Secondly is that when it comes to the limitations, it is to be made very clear to the patient. When it comes to possibilities, also has to be made very clear to the patient. So unless this happens, people will not get the best out of everything. And India is so blessed. I really doubt there are how many countries in the world that has so much of plurality. I don't know. You call it pluralism. You call it plurality. I don't know what the word you can use for it. Yeah, pluralism. I mean, multiple options basically. Multiple options. So that way, these options India needs to utilize. And a good majority of people, they look for integration. They look for shake hand or joining hands. Because they know the limitations. I know my limits very clearly. I know my strength. I'm sure every allopathic doctor would know. Same with our system. But the problem is when you don't acknowledge your limitation. When you look down at the system, and that happens quite a lot, unfortunately.
Do you think allopathy looks down in Ayurveda, in Ayush in general?
Yeah, both. Actually, Ayush people look down at allopathy also.
Yes.
So does allopathy.
Yeah.
You know, that is, हम अच्छे तो लोग भी अच्छे. That's the way I believe, right? So, I mean, you would have seen about the book called The Legacy of Charaka, Legacy of Sushruta, Legacy of Vagbhada. It is written by somebody who is Padma Vibhushan.
Okay.
So, and he is a he was a cardiothoracic surgeon who is the founder, director of what is called as Sri Chitra Institute of Medical Science and Technology. It's a big institution of national importance in Trivandrum. Big. Its specialty is neuro and cardio. Neurology and cardiology. I mean, such a big. So it was created in the 80s, I suppose, 70s or 80s. Somebody of that stature, if that gentleman, nearly in the 60s or 70s of his age, after being so acclaimed, it's not about Padma Shri or Padma Bhushan. I'm not talking that level. That's not a criteria to evaluate somebody, but somebody of that knowledge and repute and scientist kind of person. If he tries or rather starts to learn about Ayurveda in his 60s and 70s, whatever, and writes 3 books on Ayurveda, I mean, let us use that common sense that they definitely don't invest their time on something they don't find meritorious.
Obviously. Yeah.
So I think, and more so at a so-called retired age.
Mm.
So he's now 88 plus. I think it's nearly 90,
Mm.
nearly. And Touchwood is still doing good, whatever.
Yeah.
So what I meant is that
Mm.
the idea is when such seniors show the respect
Mm.
and the curiosity,
Mm.
why can't you youngsters,
Mm.
you means those who
Yeah.
are kind of making fun of Ayurveda, in your 30s and 40s,
Mm.
nearly 50 years younger to such a senior doctor. And you see, mind you, sir, please bear in mind,
Mm.
if somebody is 90 nearly and a doctor,
Mm.
when he became a doctor, you have to understand he was the cream of society, right?
Mm.
50 years ago or 60 years ago, to become a doctor was a big deal, sir.
Yes. Mm.
I hope you will agree with me.
Yeah, definitely.
Today, every other one can become a doctor, and rightfully so. There's
Mm.
nothing wrong in everyone becoming commonly doctors.
Mm.
So
Mm.
everyone has a doctor in the family or somebody known to
Yeah.
them, right?
Mm.
So it's very common, but that was not the case. 50 years ago, a doctor was a big deal.
Mm.
No, I mean, he may not be rich, but it was a big
Mm.
thing.
Yeah.
So that way, I think youngsters can take a lesson from him in that sense.
Mm.
So it's your openness
Mm.
towards things.
Mm.
So this is faced in two manners. One is arrogance. Well, that's a personal call.
Yeah.
Second is ignorance,
Mm.
which is also sometimes an what to say,
Is that
unavoidable.
they don't find it useful, or they lack the knowledge of that?
Two things are there. Like
Mm.
if you have a bad experience with an Ayurvedic doctor, why should you trust the science?
Mm.
Having said that, one doctor of your bad experience should not be
Mm.
compared with the entire science, right?
Mm.
We always have good and bad doctors. We always have efficient, and in allopathy also same.
Yeah, obviously.
The many doctors, absolute nonsense. I know people train from China.
Mm.
That's what I would say. They came back from China. They don't even know how to take the blood pressure.
Yeah.
They struggle.
Mm.
So what's that? So I can't blame China for that.
Yeah.
University of China. It's the individual's merit.
Mm.
So I think it is simple as that. The two ways of being good.
Mm.
One is to be good, and second is to make others look bad. So I am not trying to make the second option here.
Oh, okay, nice. And what about the integration in particularly of Ayush and the allopathy? Does IMA aware about it, or?
IMA is a great organization,
Mm.
but apparently, to my knowledge, from the members of IMA I know of personally,
Mm.
I think only 25% or 15% of allopathy doctors are IMA members.
Mm.
And somebody was even telling me one of the interesting reasons of being an IMA is that ex gratia you may get 25 lakh rupees after your death. Your family will get it. So there's also another interesting reason to be an IMA, other than other reasons, obviously. That's what been told by some IMA members. I hope they're correct.
Mm.
So it's a great system of people doing their best,
Mm.
but they seem to have eternal allergy to Ayush
Mm.
for reasons they understand better. Maybe because they haven't understood the power of Ayush or strength of it.
Yeah.
Even though many of their members secretly use our medicines
Mm.
in privacy,
Mm.
but not in public, they would acknowledge it. Because that's a shame for them.
Yeah.
It's like an atheist cannot go to temple, no, not in public at least, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing. And what baffles, and they did a great job, obviously. See,
Mm.
I'm not trying to belittle anyone. Like
Mm.
we, in our society, we find many people blaming politicians.
Mm.
But my dear friends, let us be frank that politicians work 24/7. When I and you sleep, a politician is working somewhere,
Mm.
right? They work 24/7. It's a thankless job anyway, and you can never be making people happy anyway.
Mm.
And we expect perfection of politicians when we ourselves are not perfect. At least I am not perfect, right? In the same way, they're doing a lot of good things, obviously, for the welfare of people.
Mm.
But that eternal allergy towards Ayush
Mm.
is really harming their reputation. More so when they were denying Ayurveda's credibility for COVID patients, when they themselves were screwed up. Sorry for my language. That's what exactly was happening to them. And if the entire India has seen that just oxygen cylinder is not enough to help people, ventilators are great. They are COVID warriors, and they are putting their life to risk. No doubts on that. We should acknowledge, respect, and pray for them. However, when it comes to maintaining somebody's immunity, sorry boss, you have none, perhaps. The immune modulators come from Ayurveda mostly. And we don't understand how did IMA endorse paints which are antibacterial and bulbs which are antibacterial. That's kind of captions we're coming across. So how does that happen? We don't know. And even the vaccine is going for a toss now in many places. And how is that कि आपने कहा okay, one you take first dose, then after 15 days, or maybe after 1 month, or maybe after 45 days. नहीं ठीक है, 2 महीने के बाद भी चलता है. ठीक है यार, 3 महीने बाद भी कर लो. नहीं किया तब भी कुछ नहीं है. So how does that happen? Where is your consistency?
Yeah.
Right? So so let us be very frank that कि आपकी आपकी जगह है, हमारी हमारी जगह है. हम एक साथ काम करेंगे, देश के लिए काम करेंगे. We'll do for our country.
And
Our country.
do you think since it is the first time it's not very usual that this pandemic happens, and so that
Yeah.
the standardization is lacking in the full medical system? Do you think like that?
Absolutely. There is no clear winner in this because it's a failure of the entire system if people die more or more people suffer. People talk about positive, negative, RT-PCR, everything, but we all know it is 70% accurate only.
Yes.
So what about the remaining 30 people, right? One thing. Secondly, lot of post-COVID complications that never comes in the newspaper.
Yeah.
It's like, people will talk about a martyr and the action he went into and death. But nobody talks about the martyr's leftover family. Or not leftover, I don't know, left after family. That may be a better word. Or no. It's never talked about. So post-COVID, plenty of suffering, multi-system failures.
Yeah.
There's nothing allopathy is able to do much great in that. Obviously. Otherwise, we would know it. Right? So there comes the role of Ayush. So this is why it's very. I even was invited to Russia. I mean, online, of course, webinar. That's the screenshot I shared with you last night. That COVID negative. Now what? Very important.
Yeah.
COVID positive, तो चलो हो रहा है, ऐसा हो रहा है. That's fine. And how come there was tooth and nails they were opposing when Ayush people were given the permission to treat COVID patients? I mean, COVID is new for everyone, for the entire world, one shot. So you can't say that we have proven protocols already before it came into existence. So that way, it is good for their health as well as country's health if they acknowledge and accommodate Ayush in the system, because Ayush does not belong to me only, it belongs to them also. Unless their descendants belong to Europe or Australia or some other foreign country. And I'm sure almost every doctor in India has his roots in India. At least for 2 or 3 generations, if not more. So basically, Ayush belongs to allopathy. That is the first thing I would say. ये आपकी विरासत भी है, हमारी सिर्फ नहीं है.
And also,
and when you challenge it without any reason, when you make fun of it, I use the word medical bastard.
Yeah.
I don't know if that word is allowed in your show.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I used. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
that's what I used against IMA. There is a YouTube of the same like that, because
I watched it.
because when you defame a science without even studying it, you see, we never defame allopathy because we are not masters of it, right? We know Ayurveda very well, black and white. Agreed. But we know a lot of allopathy because it's all open literature. They don't know as much of Ayurveda as much we know. They don't know of as much we know of allopathy, right? So allopathy is easy to understand. It's English, no? Much easy. Sanskrit would be not easy for everyone to understand even the concepts. I understand that. So that is why, and we know that IMA is not representing allopathy in totality. Otherwise, the entire allopathy doctors should have been IMA members, which is not the case. So that is why I think they're doing great job wherever they're doing. If they do, let it be there. Let others are doing good job. Let go on like that also.
So,
and you won't believe. But I have proof of the same. I have webinar of the same. There are doctors of Ayurveda who are implementing Ayurvedic medicines in the intensive care units of allopathy hospitals in Mumbai. Okay, so when there are people who think life is more important than which system of medicine or which credit to whom, so it means there are very great people at many levels who have this kind of a intention and action to help people where the professional barriers don't come.
And do you think allopathy doctors, they take it very personal, their whatever they have learned?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, see, for me, my experience is like Dr. C.P. Mas is MBBS, MS, he's allopathy. He's not, I mean, maybe he's one of the most senior most practicing doctor. I mean, there are not many people who cross 90 anyway. And even if they cross, they're not practicing. Right? In spite of his bad health, he's still practicing. So I mean, if he can be humble, then
Yeah.
I think youngsters 50 years or half a century younger than him can be more humble also.
Yeah. And is there a separate degree for Ayush? Like we have an MBBS?
Yes, sir.
Mm.
Yeah. There is a graduation degree 4.5 plus 1 5.5, and the post graduation 3 and PhD 2. If you go to PhD,
Okay.
of course, majority do the graduation. That's a minimum anyway.
Mm.
Also, a good portion do the post graduation again 3 years,
Mm.
and then very few percentage go to the PhD.
Mm. And I know Ayurveda in particular has deeper roots in India. In Western countries also they follow. I mean, there is a wave of Ayurveda. Do you think that?
Already, it's more than 30 years.
Mm.
I would say mostly Germany, Swiss, Austria, and US.
Okay. Mm.
Russia too. Russia too.
Mm.
Europe has a good presence of Ayurveda. That they even have European Ayurvedic Association. So many things are happening.
Mm. So, and do you think this vaccine it really works, or it's just a immunity booster?
Sir, actually, I am not qualified to
Mm.
comment on it
Okay.
because that is not my subject of
Have you
expertise.
have you taken the vaccine or?
Well, so far not. If I can avoid it, will be great.
Okay.
I don't trust the entire process, to be frank.
Mm.
As I don't have data to prove.
Mm.
But there are many things you have a gut feeling.
Mm.
And now, yesterday, we have the newspaper from AIMS chief that the third wave is expected after 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, boss, are you reading out somebody's script? I don't know. Or are you being better than astrology to predict it? And so that's very interesting.
Yeah.
And when we hear here and there that third wave is coming, so is it a match fixed? I don't know.
Mm.
There's so many things which doesn't match, sir. Frankly speaking,
And it's
I don't know if your podcast allows frank narration or it has to be politically correct. I don't know about that. But you see, how do you justify certain things
Mm.
that is easy to connect the dots sometimes, but when so difficult?
Mm.
How is it that you have people dying even after a vaccine,
Mm.
double dose,
Yeah.
right, one after another?
Mm.
How is that people still contract? Yeah, they can always say
Mm.
ki I was protected
Mm.
or I had lesser severity, all that.
Mm.
But then, do you think 6 months or so is enough
Mm.
to have a clear understanding of vaccine?
Mm.
When we know the history of vaccines, nobody could roll out in 6 months, or no, it is a longer time of observation, right?
Yeah.
So and so then the dots don't match, at least for common people like us.
And do you think
That is
because
why
of
I am.
sudden increase in deaths, they are forced to do the processes very quickly without testing it to the last level?
Yeah, that maybe. I don't know what is the bureaucracy behind it, and that is why you see whatever I am telling about vaccine is actually I'm not telling anything. I'm just speculating. I'm not making Ayurveda. I can say point blank. That's my subject. I know what I'm talking. But vaccine is not my subject. But no, I keep suspecting things. What makes me interesting is how can you say कि यार 15 दिन बाद भी चलता है ठीक है एक महीना no, it's okay after 2 months. Is it lack of availability or is lack of clarity? Both is a possibility. So that doesn't tally very much. You can't keep changing your goalpost like the note ban time, changing the different narrative because people are outsmarting the note ban and then you have new rules coming. That can't happen with vaccine. And to have a span of the havoc of corona is there for nearly 15 months or 16 months, whichever. And the vaccines did not roll out, quite later it only rolled out. So do you think that much of time is enough to bring out such a big pandemic multi-system failure thing? That much time is enough to bring out the research and how many people were tested or how many were implemented, and where you deny the simple fact that whatever the vaccine may do or do not do, you cannot ignore the immunity enhancement of your body. You can't ignore the immunity aspect of your body.
Does it depends on person to person or?
Yeah, quite a lot. It depends upon so many comorbidities. It depends upon usage of certain herbs, as we call it. Multiple things. Immunity enhancement is not just drug-oriented. Drug means herb. Please mind you that when we say drug, it's not drug. It is medicine, the symbolic of medicine. It's medicine-oriented or herb, whichever it is. So it is not just that only. There's a whole lot of homework you need to do to make that happen. No?